Hey, what is up, everyone? Today, we are seeing one of the coolest things in Bitcoin history. We're starting to see Bitcoin play out as a medium of exchange. And now, for the longest time, all the fiat maxis, all the normal people would be like, hey, I can't go buy coffee, or I can't buy this or that particular item with it in the United States. Now, many of you guys know this has been happening for years upon years in El Salvador, in Costa Rica, in Switzerland, and many places around the world where you can literally go and pay in Satoshis. What makes this so monumental is this is happening now in the United States. And I think this is a really, really positive development. I'm so happy to see the Steak and Shake is rolling this out to 480 plus locations across the country. And I think that this is an excellent way to show that you can pay peer-to-peer with Bitcoin with Lightning. And I think it's really cool because it's proven all the naysayers wrong. Now, many of these countries over the past couple of years, they kind of introduced it. And the thing is, people are going to be like, oh, well, it's only at Steak and Shake. The thing is, it takes time. There's infrastructure stuff that needs to get worked out with Bitcoin Lightning. There's a lot of education that needs to happen. But what's happening is businesses are often around the globe. They can choose whether they want to accept it or not. So it's kind of not being forced on people. Rather, it's an option. So the other day, actually today on the 16th of May is the day in which you can go to Steak and Shake and pay in Bitcoin. Yesterday, the first transaction I saw happen, it was essentially like $20 or there was like 982 sats per dollar, so you can see every detail of the transaction. But what was really cool about it is it was pretty effortless. They didn't have to educate the wait staff on how to do it and this and that. Literally, you just go up, you select pay in Bitcoin, you scan the thing, and there you go. You can actually pay in the unit of account you choose. So that was really, really cool to see. Now, this kind of all started in Zonte, about half a decade ago, where you can go to different merchants and pay in BTC. And we're starting to see, and I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's called the Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economies. And so there's circular economies all over the world where they accept Bitcoin. And you can find those BTC maps as well. You can see different merchants on an individual level where they accept. So, I think one of the biggest things for the longest time that has held us back from having Bitcoin as a medium of exchange is there was a lot of things. So first of it was the lack of the infrastructure. Now, you need the right infrastructure set up to be able to do this. And for example, you need to be able to accept in Lightning or BTC, but you need to be able to properly route it to your wallets. So there was some things that I think the businesses had to figure out that was a little bit more complicated than just accepting a card. And I think that technology is here now. I think most with BTC Pay Server and with many of the different wallets, it is pretty straightforward and easy to accept. The next one is the lack of knowledge. Now, a lot of people, they didn't even really know of Bitcoin. They just thought it was for the Silk Road or drug smuggling and all that kind of stuff. No, it's been kind of traditionally blessed from that aspect. So you can pretty much go anywhere right now and Cash App or Fidelity or you name your broker, whether that's Strike or Coinbase, and you can actually buy Bitcoin pretty easily. I think the biggest thing was, so I buy this and number goes up and I sell. Nobody really thought, I buy this so that I can buy product. It can go up in value and then I can buy products and services. And so that was a big thing because it's like, well, you want to store your value in something that goes up. And I think a lot of people also see if the value of it's going to go up, why would I transact? Why would I get rid of it? So the next one was like the lack of the regulatory clarity. Now you got to think about it. The past administration was relentless against this asset. They would they were so hell bent on trying to take it down. It's insane. And it just wasn't a good idea necessarily to roll it out, given the former administration's outright attacks on it. And lastly, the tax implications. Now, this still needs to get, overhauled, and at the bottom of the receipt on Steak and Shake, they say they're not responsible for the tax reporting. You're supposed to do that on yourself. I actually think this is all going to go away in the next couple of years. I think de minimis taxes will go the way of the dinosaur. I think there will be a law passed, whether it's $500 or $1,000. If it's a small enough amount of BTC, you won't have to pay taxes on it. And I think Cynthia Lummis and many others in Congress and in our House are going to work to pass something like that. Because think about it. Isn't that silly? You buy $20 of Bitcoin, $20 goes up to $30, and then you go to Steak and Shake and you spend $30. Okay, so because of the change in Satoshi's value from the 20 to the 30, you're supposed to report that de minimis tax. That doesn't make any sense. And it sounds like a tax reporting nightmare. So I think there's a lot of things that need to change on that front, because at the end of the day, these de minimis taxes, it causes more work for the IRS, causes more work for the tax agencies, the firms, and it causes more work from the end user, and it doesn't even get that much tax revenue. And so I think this would be a huge move forward if the government and the IRS eventually get rid of these de minimis taxes. It will make life better, and it will actually accelerate Bitcoin adoption tenfold. Now, many of the Bitcoiners have been pushing this for a long time now, and it hasn't been widely adopted. But I think it's one of those things where it's a gradually then suddenly moment where a business or two adopts it, like Steak and Shake, maybe next, I don't know, Starbucks, and then you start to see more and more businesses accepting it. And it'll be a domino effect. I'm telling you, if you go to Steak and Shake's KPIs are going to be going through the roof today. Sales will be probably at all-time highs. They're going to get more repeat customers. They already made the right moves with RFK Jr. If you remember, they're doing the beef tallow with their fries. They're doing all the natural steak and beef. So it's like they're making all the right moves for this administration. And I just think that, it's one of those things where more companies are going to go and look at Steak and Shake and they're like, wow, they just blew through the roof this month and next month and the upcoming months. And they're going to want to ride some of those tailwinds. So I think that this is just the very beginning. I do think it is kind of a chicken and the egg problem, but that's all changing. I think people were waiting for other people to accept it. They were probably waiting for easy to implement solutions. But I think we're going to see a future where that's transitioning. Now, so this announcement is huge. This is probably, in my opinion, the biggest announcement this year, even though there's been a lot of huge announcements. And now it's about, okay, how is it working? Are they able to accept? Are they converting it? Right? Think about that. When they get the Bitcoin, are they converting it to fiat or are they holding it in BTC? Because if they're holding in BTC, that can be considered a treasury reserve asset for their retained earnings. So that's something to think about as well. Now, with this, there's over the 480 locations. They serve over 100 million customers annually. This is a subtle way for them to do their part to make Bitcoin the de facto legal tender and legal money for the United States. Now, there's a tremendous amount of people in the U.S. that just think Bitcoin as a store of value. Hey, if I buy it 4-year cycle, it's going to go up, right? And we've seen that play out for every cycle now, right? If you've ever bought Bitcoin and you stayed for more than 4 years, it's always gone up. But now, the reason why this is so important, this is the medium of exchange narrative playing out in front of your very eyes in the United States, one of the most developed and richest nations on earth. And so this is huge. And I know that there's other places much wealthier, like Switzerland, but I'm saying this from the aspect of we're the biggest consumers too. and we're a huge network that has influence on the world. So this is a huge moment in the medium of exchange narrative playing out. So I'm sending some friends some satoshis today and tomorrow and some other couple of days from now. But I really want to see this play out. I really am excited. I know it's not going to be perfect the first day. Remember in September 7th, 2021, when Bitcoin became legal tender in El Salvador? Remember how rocky it was at first. And remember, it got kind of crazy for a bit. It wasn't perfect, right? But remember now look at where it is, right? And so I think it's the biggest thing is it's like, okay, if things don't go smoothly, and I think they will, because they have had good partners and probably a lot of smart Bitcoiners helping them. But this is just the very beginning, right? And we're gonna see, years from now, potentially more businesses accept, and we're gonna try to record something for you guys, my fiance and I as well, directly for you guys in 2 weeks. We're going to try to go to Steak and Shake and get a nice video published. I'm going to try to get some friends to do the same. And then, of course, when we're in Switzerland and Prague, we're going to be paying in Bitcoin everywhere we go. So the thing is this. We're going to see more businesses follow suit, and we're going to see America become the Bitcoin capital of the world. And with that, we got to be prepared. We got to be willing to embrace this new technology. It's not going anywhere, right? So embrace it, learn about it, study it, and most importantly, let the sats flow. Let the sats flow, but don't forget to spend and replace. Per Gresham's law, the bad money, I don't know the exact quote, but I do know that bad money is typically used instead of the good. So good money drives out the bad, or it's the other way around. Bad money drives out the good. But essentially what that means is people will always try to spend their worst currency because they know it's going to go down in value, right? And so essentially, why would you spend your Bitcoin if you can spend your cash? Because cash is a melting ice cube. Cash is going down in value always and forever, right? It's lost 99.99% of value in the past 100 years. So why would you get rid of Bitcoin if it's going to go up that same amount, 9,999.99%, right? Well, the thought is you spend those satoshis at the Steak and Shake, and then you buy more, and then you replace them, right? So, and then you're also showing someone else, you're showing Steak and Shake the benefits of Bitcoin, right? Because if you just hoard your BTC and you don't spend it, then it's not taking place as much of a peer-to-peer electronic cash, peer-to-peer money network like Satoshi envisioned. It's taking place like a peer-to-peer or just a digital gold narrative. So really, really work to always spend but replace. Replace. Don't spend it and not replace. Remember Laszlo. Remember the pizza story. It happened probably 10, 15 years ago, but essentially he spent 10,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot of Bitcoins, right? And he spent it on just 2 Domino's pizzas, pepperoni pizzas. And today that's worth over $1 billion, those 2 pizzas. So now 10,000 sats, you may look at that and you're going to Steak and Shake and you pay and you get your Steak and Shake. In 10 years, you may look at that 10,000 sats and that could buy you a car, right? And you're like, wow, that's so stupid. Why did I spend 10,000 sats on Steak and Shake when it's now worth the cost of a car? Well, that's just it. Like, that's why you spend and replace, right? Don't spend it and then look back and be like, dang it, why did I spend all that? So keep that in mind, because Bitcoin is infinitely deflationary and fiat is infinitely inflationary. And so with those two combined, your Bitcoin could be worth a heck of a lot of money in the future. So always spend and replace, always let the sats flow. And guys, I'm so excited for this This is very, very big news. And please be sure to comment, rate, like, share this podcast with everyone you know. And I will see you guys in the next one.